Hi again, this is Dave at TitleSearch.com and AFX Title. Get a lot of questions from clients of what are the differences and advantages of buying a property through a foreclosure auction or some type of distress mechanism versus buying it retail through a broker or a real estate agent. Let's look at a couple of the differences. A foreclosure auction or foreclosure process normally has a selling price of 20, 30, sometimes 40% below what the property might retail for on the MLS realtor system. There are little or no closing costs. You go to that auction, you do your bid, you pay your money, and that's pretty much it. You don't have to go through long, drawn-out negotiations to get the price that you're looking for. It's basically the fair market price. However, on a foreclosure, you do have to perform more due diligence and do more research in advance of buying the property. And that's where we'll transition over to some of the advantages of the retail property. First of all, you're paying a retail price, which is a disadvantage, but you have more professional services going along with that purchase. You're going to have a realtor that will walk you through each step, handle the contract for you. Everything's on a silver platter, right? Handling the closing is done through a title company. They're going to do your title search. They're going to maybe issue title insurance. Of course, there's an expense for that. The entire closing process normally has, costs of $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 for closing costs on a typical property, and a lot of that comes along with those professional services. You may also have the processes such as inspection and title research handled for you. You don't have to worry about it. You have to pay for it, but you don't have to worry about arranging it. So which is better? Well, it depends. In most cases, as a individual purchasing a property, if you do some reasonable due diligence, you can get close to the same risk and exposure on a foreclosure property as would be on a retail property. Do some reasonable due diligence on title searching and background research. You do as much inspection as you can. I know on these foreclosures you can't go inside and make sure the air conditioner works and see if there's cabinets in it, but do the best you can for research, and we'll get into that a little bit later in the video. You do some market research about what other properties are selling for, who's buying them, and also some legal research. Talking to an attorney, maybe spending a few $100s on some legal advice on how to best structure the transaction to benefit you. So how do you do some of these things when you don't have access to the property? Well, for inspection, you may find that there were advertisements for this property in the past. Either it may have been for sale by the bank before the foreclosure. It may have been for sale by the owner before foreclosure through a short sale ad. From that, you can maybe see pictures of inside the house. It may have been for rent on Craigslist. There may be pictures. Zillow occasionally will have interior pictures of a house. In some situations, you may be able to get access to the house through the current resident, through somebody who has custody or control of that house. It's worth asking. It's worth checking into. Worst case scenarios, try to peek in the window. Get binoculars, look inside, see if you can do that. Maybe find out when there's going to be some type of an inspection for the bank or for a utility company and get access that way. So foreclosure auction and purchases versus retail, a lot of advantages, a lot of price savings, a lot of more direct engagement with the property rather than going through middlemen. However, some of that professional service that comes along from those mediative entities, realtors, brokers, title companies, attorneys, you have to do yourself, but you can save tens of thousands of dollars, if not more, if you do that work yourself and don't look at it like it's going to happen automatically. Put the work in, do some legwork, do some due diligence, get good title searches from a qualified provider, get some legal advice from a good attorney, and you can get close to the same risk factor as you can on a retail purchase. Maybe a few things might pop up later. You might have a couple $1,000 repair for a furnace, or maybe there might be $1,000 or $1,500 claim against a property from some mechanic, but the bottom line is that you're saving tens of thousands, so even if those pop up later, you're still ahead of the game.